The fourth update of 26 is out, still following up on Season 4. Let's get to it right after my sponsor, Skins Monkey. Trade your items instantly with Skins Monkey. Sign up now and get up to $5 bonus. Simply add items from your inventory, then find skins that matches your balance. Site offers live support 24/7. You can also top up your balance if you're missing a few dollars, and there's tons of skins to choose from. Click my link down below to get to Skins Monkey. Let's get to it. Damage from HEs that explode mid-air near the ground will no longer be calculated as if they exploded on the ground. I spent way too long trying to figure out what actually changed. Throwing them as close to the ground without bouncing them showed no noticeable difference, even with my pixel perfect precision, so my conclusion was that this had to be an edge case. Over on Reddit, Zaz mentioned that if you were very lucky, you could completely avoid damage if the nade was behind a tiny ledge. Now, I wasn't able to replicate that exactly, but I got to this part at least. In this example, the nade explodes mid-air, but it's covered by the staircases. Before this update, the bot only took 19 damage, and in the new update, 43. So my conclusion for today's update is that it fixes some rare edge cases where HEs wouldn't do proper damage to enemies if they got too close to edges, and that's honestly a welcoming change. Then again, we have various knife sound adjustments. The Steam database game tracker spotted multiple changes, which I've summarized into this neat little table. Now this might seem like a big difference to how it sounds, but nah. It's fine-tuning like we saw in previous updates. But you can hear some slight tweaks if you pay attention closely, like on this butterfly knife. Then under the miscellaneous section, most of this is community map related, but it's still pretty interesting for those into workshop maps. First is a bug fix, but the second patch note is where it gets spicy, since they've added a new host right config with prompt command, which is basically a replacement for host right config. Before this, the host right config command would allow the map you're playing on to change your settings without asking. This new one will show you a pop-up asking for permission, which is great for the player, it's transparent, and they'll know in advance. Then, on top of that, it says community maps are now restricted to a smaller list of allowed console commands. The whitelisted commands can be found in this new file. If you pay attention, you'll see that host right config is no longer there, but the new one with the prompt is. So, in a way, this update is actually kind of a big deal. Essentially, Valve wants tighter security, I guess, or at the very least, they're making sure workshop maps can't mess with your game so easily. And from now on, you should get prompted whenever a map wants to change some settings. At least that's what I get from reading this. Now, above all this, we have performance optimizations for, wait for it, exploding chickens. Before this update, I was sitting at around 950 FPS, and after the chicken explosion, it dropped about 100 FPS. I can't believe I'm actually testing this, but in the new update, I had around 970 FPS and dropped to about 890, so still a drop, but I guess less of a drop. Keep in mind, the higher the FPS, the less the millisecond difference matters in terms of frame times, but sure enough, Valve did do some performance optimizations, but it doesn't seem to matter much. And finally, Stronghold, one of the community maps released with Season 4, got updated to the latest version. It got a couple more updates, but this was mainly because, well, you already know. That's what I got for you today. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Valve secretly made changes to the detection in their anti-cheat, to avoid getting all the VAC lives, but time will tell, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.